Hi, I'm Bet from Bet's Makes, and today we're going to be making some paper pockets out of scrap paper that we can put in on a planner or something else to that effect. I've got a couple more here, and I've added a pocket right here. So these are little pockets you can make out of scrap paper. So in order to get going, let's go over to Cricut Design Space. Now, these are some pockets that I've already put together. I'm just going to get rid of these, and I'm going to show you the entire process of what we are doing right now. And it is an upload, and you can get the upload from betsmakes.com. And also, while we're at it, before we get to the upload, make sure you get your copy of Cricut Tips and Tricks, and you'll see the link below this video. We're going to upload an image, and it's called Small Pockets. And of course, you want the SVG file. I'm just going to click on it here and add it to the canvas. Now, this is how it's going to come in. It's as one group, and you'll see some lines in between here. These are the score lines, although they look like cut lines when you look in the layers panel. So in the layers panel, I'm going to click on the first of those cut lines, not the blue part, but just the ones that look like just basic cut and lines. And I'm using my Shift key and click. And I am going to change those up in the operations here, and it shows red, to score. Now you'll see them all change to score lines. It's exactly what we want. Now, because I want to cut these out on different pieces of paper and move them around a bit on my mat, I am going to ungroup these so that I can move them around on my own when time is ready. The big thing I have to do here is select each one of these groups and attach it so that the score lines are going to stay with the particular item. If I don't do that, the score lines are going to go on mats by themselves and just make a mess. So let's click on attach for every single one of them. Perfect. We are ready to go ahead and cut these, except I want to show you how to do this on your own. Now, the process is quite simple. First thing I want to do is to sort of duplicate this particular item. Now, I'm using this as a template. So if you don't have the template, you're going to have to create these on your own. So I'm going for a shape. I'll go for a square. And I'm just going to bring the square over, and I'm going to try to match this as much as possible. I'm going to unlock it. And that looks pretty darn good. I'm going to lock it, and then I'm going to change it from a basic cut to a score. And then I'm just going to move it out of the way because we're going to use this a little later. Now I need the building blocks for the rest of this. So let's go to our shapes, and let's pick this rounded square. And I'm just going to change the color here so we can see it. Now I need a square probably that goes all the way down to the bottom from the top. So I'm going to match that in. I am going to unlock it, and then we will adjust it. And I'm just going to move it over right to the edge there. It's 2.5. And then I'm just going to bring it down till it goes over the top of what we have here. Now it looks like width 2.5. So let's make our width up here 2.5. And I guess our height should be 5.75. 5.75. Okay, let's lock that back up. Now let's grab another rounded square and push it across the top here. All right, so let's go find our other rounded square. Let's go to shapes, rounded square. And this time I'm going to match as close as possible here. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but it's going to be close. Let's say that looks pretty good. Okay, I'm going to lock that into place. I'm just going to make that a lighter purple, just so I can see it. Yep, that looks pretty good. Now, the piece I'm missing, of course, is this rounded rectangle piece, which is the top of my envelope, as you want to call it. So I have to put something in place, but I got to find a shape that's going to work for me. Now, anything that's round might work well. The biggest problem is they won't be rectangular shaped per se, but we can combine a couple of things to make this work. So first, I want to put a triangle in place. Get it about the right width. I'm just going to move it over here. So it looks about right, 2.5, 2.275, 2.275. That looks really good, but now I want this rounded at the top. I don't necessarily like what's going on here. So let me just make this a light color again. All right, let's grab another shape, and I want to cut the round piece off at the top. I could use, let me just use a circle and unlock it and get it rounded at the top here. Just cut off pieces that I don't need. That looks pretty good. So I want that piece and I want the triangle underneath. I'm just going to click and shift click, and you can see them over here in the layers panel. I am going to slice them to see what I get, see if I can get the piece I want. And it looks like I can get rid of this piece. I'm going in the layers panel here. Oh, it looks okay. This piece, I kind of want it except the top. And let's see if I can get rid of this piece. Now I want all of these pieces except the one at the top. So what I'm going to have to do with the one in the middle here, I'm just going to have to shut the eyeballs on it because I want to get rid of this top piece. But in order to do that, I want to get rid of this blue one in behind. So find our blue one in behind. Let's go this way and see if we can blue one. There we go. There's our blue one. I'm just going to turn it off so I can see it. Now I need to cut off just this little piece. So let me grab another square. I just put it over the top. I'm going to click and shift click the same shape. Make sure over here in the layers panel. And I'm going to slice it. I can get rid of all these top pieces. Get rid of this, this, and this. And then I want to put the eyeball back on the other piece that I had. Now everything looks really great. All I'm going to do is take everything and I am going to weld it together so it is one shape. I'm just going to move it out of the way because we turned off our other one and I don't really want it turned off. Okay, so that looks good. All right, so now we have our score lines that we have to put into place. And they are in behind, so let me arrange those and send them to the front. And I think I just have to align these horizontally. So side to side, align, center horizontally. That looks really good. Okay, what we're going to do here is we are going to attach those. So now we have created our own little pocket and we can test that out as we go through this. And I've got these 3 and I know I hid one. There it is. And what happened to the score line with it? I lost my score line. Let's see if I can find it. We have this score line. That was this one. And this score line, which was hidden, where is it? It's here. Okay, I'm going to have to put it back with this one. And it hit behind. That's no good. Where is it? It's this one. All right, let's arrange it. Okay, let's take this guy and let's arrange it, send it to the front. I can just move this into place so it fits. Okay, I'm going to take those together and I am going to attach them to make sure things don't fall apart. Perfect. So I've got these 5 different little pockets that I can now cut and use for myself. This one we created on the fly. These ones came from a template. All right, let's save this. I've already saved pocket planners. I'm just going to add another save to it. Perfect. Let's go ahead and make it and just see what's going to happen here. Now I put the other one on the other mat because of the color difference. I'm going to click on these 3 little dots. I'm going to move the object back onto the front mat. It's going to come on top. So we can decide where we want to place everything in order to cut it. This means I can use different materials in different areas. So for example, I could put these ones down here and cut them out of the same material. I can make these 2 out of the same material. If I want to really keep them separate, I can add another one here. Now, these are going to be scrap pieces that we are going to use. I'm going to move this one out of the way just a little bit so that I can use them in that area. Now, I noticed that this is like at the 4.5-inch mark and it is at the 5-inch mark. So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches across. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 inches on the top. So what I generally do before I move over to the mat portion of putting things on and trying to figure out where they go, I now go over and I'm going to go over to the demo desk and show you how I'm going to put together the papers on my mat that I'm going to cut. Okay, so the first one, I wanted a big swath in here of some scrap paper. I have a big sheet of one that I had used before, and I'm just going to eyeball cut it at this point because I needed something that was 7 inches by 7.5. I just use my mat here to figure out what that's going to be. So I need something at 7 inches this way. Okay, I could be a little more accurate with it, but it doesn't really matter at this point because these are all my scrap pages. So that's 7 inches in one direction. Now I want 7.5 in the other. And I'm going to come from this side. So 7.5, 13, make it about 12 here. All right. That's approximate, and then I will put those on the mat. So that is one scratch paper that I had that I want down in this corner. So we want to go into this corner. All right, that looks pretty good. I will push these down. Now I have another one that was going to come up in the top corner, and it was 1, 2, 3, 4.5 by 2 inches. So I can pick on any other color of paper that I have. So 4.5 by 2 inches. And I am being very, very generous with how I cut this. It's just a little bit. There we go. So I have another scrap paper that I can use here. And that one will just go into that corner. And I have 2 other pieces that I want to cut out. One of them is 4.5 by 3 inches. So I can pick on any other scrap paper that I have. I have a bunch of them here. Another one here. So I can just put it up in the top corner here because I have an idea of where it's going to go. Is that going to be big enough? I think so. Yep. And just fit it in there. And then I have one more smaller piece that I'm going to put down in this corner. And for that one, I have some more of my purple paper here. That into position. Scrap paper makes it a lot easier for when you want to do things. And I'm going to use my brayer tool now just to make sure everything sits into place, even though I've gone over the edge here. And that's just to make sure nothing falls apart when I put my machine on. All right, next job here is going to be, things out of the way, turn on my machine, and we're going to get ready to do our cutting and our scoring for our make. Take this out. So I need my scoring wheel. Make sure you don't depress the top when you go to put it in, or else the bottom part will fall out. If you're using the Explorer, you are definitely going to have a scoring stylus, which is a little easier. So we are going to continue with this one. And when I select my device, I'm selecting my Maker 3. However, for the materials we're going to use, we're just going to use a light cardstock. And with that light cardstock, it can be anything. Do not mix and match on your mat, because if you do, you're going to run into a problem with your blades and your tools. So right now, it is just going to go ahead and do some scoring. While you're waiting, you can click on the link to get your free copy of our Cricut tips and tricks guide. It has 25 different things you should know about your Cricut, and it's a free guide for you. And the link is in the description below. All right, we have our cut done. I'm just going to click on finish here. All right, so now we want to put this together so that we have our little pockets. I'm just going to turn this off and move it out of the way. I'm going to flip my mat and pull the pieces of paper off. And I roll my mat off so that I don't get my paper curling up. Oops, stuck it back on. Move it out of the way. There we go. And now I've got two on the other side. Turn that over. These off. One. This is this one off gently. And one last one right here. Great. Now I just want to put cover back on my mat and put it away. Move my scraps out of the way here and just leave our pockets that we cut. Now, one is the one we did from the template, and one is from the one that came, actually, let me back up there a bit. One of them is from the template, and the other one is the one we created right inside Design Space. So as you can see, you can't see much difference between the two, except we know we're more rounded when it comes to the template. And we do have a round piece from the one we created in Design Space, and it will work just as well. So I'm just going to show you how to put these together. It's pretty simple. You're just going to fold those score lines, make sure they're straight. It's pretty easy to fold them. I'm just going to fold them all in place first. This is the top. So this is going to fold in like this. And then we're actually going to glue those pieces together. So it's going to be pretty easy, but I want to fold everything first. And you can see those score lines, and when you bend them slightly, they are going to bend for you. There we go. You have 5 of these guys. And you can tell this is really a scrap piece of paper. Something I would have thrown away otherwise because it's got writing on it, but it works really nicely for when it comes to making one of these envelopes. So just a couple more to go here, and then we'll do a little bit of gluing, and then the project is done, and then you'll be able to add your pockets to anything you want inside your journal pages. It's tougher to fold. There we go. And then we'll do some gluing in just a second. One more to fold. Top part in there. Getting a straight fold on that one. No. There we go. It will bend because you have the score line in there. So you just have to be careful on how you do that. So we're going to glue all of these together, and I'm just going to bring my gluing mat out here. I'm using Aleene's tacky glue, and I'm just don't have to put a lot of glue here. You don't want the thing to stick to all the other areas. So just a little bit of glue will do. Just hold it into place. Set it aside to dry. Same thing with all the other ones. Here. Bigger ones are a little easier because you can put a little extra glue. Okay, 2 more. And there we go. We have all our little pockets ready here. Now we can do all kinds of things with these pockets. As I had shown you before, you can actually glue them onto little planners like this. So I've got a couple of extra ones here, so I could actually have another smaller one in place here as well. So you can glue them in on your dividers, into your journal, whatever you want. These are great for adding little things to it. If you want, you can actually use them as little gift cards and add a little tag to it. So that is all there is to using scrap paper for pocket planners. So I hope you had a lot of fun with this, and until next time, happy crafting.